Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
I am Captain Deacon, along with the brothers. We are here to bring forth some love and charity toward the nation of Israel. Hope to encourage, build up, and be able to admonish our people during these particular times. And so, with that being said, we are going to be dealing with, are you prepping to live or are you prepping to die? So, you have a lot of issues and concerns, and the earth is totally volatile. There's a lot of back and forth, a lot of things that's happening. People getting carried away about with every wind of doctrine, brothers. You know what I'm saying? How y'all doing this morning? Y'all doing all right?
Yes, sir.
Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. Good to be here there again on this Sabbath morning. So you see the feeds on the channels. You see and hear what's going on in the news. This thing is just, it's utterly done gone mad. And you have things that's folks walking up on folks, knocking them around. You got people saying that I don't want to be in this body. They trying to leave and become somebody else. It's utterly just craziness, madness. Our people are smitten with madness. So we're going to dive into some of those things, and some of those things we want to make our people be aware of, that we ourselves have to be able and be mindful of how we need to conduct ourselves. And as we do that, meaning that we are keeping the Most High's commandment. But there comes a time of preparation. In our history, we see that we're prepared people, that we're taking care of ourselves. But I will say that it's the time that we're living in, it's important that you hear from the prophets of God. Y'all agree? You need to hear from the prophets of God. That's a true statement. And it's so important that we're in a place where we can be able to follow those that have been walking with the Most High. And what it does, it makes our particular, I wouldn't say it makes it easier, but it gives us a guideline. It allows us to be able to follow those that the Most High have esteemed, those that He has set up, those that He has anointed for this work in these days that we're facing. Just cut to the chase. I was touching on how the condition of our people. Give me that in, is it 1 Timothy chapter 3? Let me get it with you. In these perilous times. Because when you look at things and you see how things are, people are troubled. You have different things that's going on television, and when you see it, there's nothing on television. There's really nothing on television anymore. It's not even a learning channel. That's what I'm wanting? Huh? Yes, that. Thank you, officer.
2 Timothy.
2 Timothy. Okay.
Chapter 3, verse 1. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come.
These are dangerous times. They're difficult times. And I think a lot of us have gotten acclimated to the conditions of this world, and we assume that these things are normal. And you're going through hell. You're catching hell. You really, your body is wore down. You're mentally challenged. And yet and still that you thinking because you're able to get something or get some small token out of this world, you think you're good. Or you think that all the hell you went through is worth the Apple Watch. But we are literally catching hell. And I'm telling you, the saints are being wore out. These are difficult times. You're pulling 2 jobs. You're trying to make things happen. You're trying to keep the lights on. Read on.
For men shall be lovers of their own selves.
So you got this going on. You got men sitting over there wanting to change and be with another man. It's just off the chain. It's on another level. And it's going across the landscape like fire. And that's what's going to take to put that thing out. Fire's going to have to come and burn this place up. It's going to have to. They got the world upside down. Read on.
For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud.
And they talking that crazy talk, talking about I can be what I want to be. I can be who I want to be. I don't see nothing wrong with it. One brother on the channel the other night, he sat there and said that, he didn't see nothing wrong with him being with another man. Literally gone mad, smitten with madness. Said he didn't see nothing wrong with it. And God judges that thing. This is not a place of rest. This is no refuge is not here. We buying time. You only thing, Israel, we need to be enduring, because the times is at hand. It's vital that we begin to esteem one another more higher than ourselves. That's what we have to do, Israel. Begin to bolster, begin to edify the nation of our people. We're going to need that thing, because it's totally us against the world. And this world is going down. There's nothing holding it together. It's coming unraveled. So the enemy is doing a lot of things that he's hiding from the nation. And so as people begin to, prep, as I was talking about, we're going to prep. Are you prepping to live, or are you prepping to die? Most people are prepping to die. Because why? They have a love for the world. Read on, officer.
Blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection.
Without what kind of affection?
Natural affection.
You can't make this up. How in the world do a man not see that he has to have a wife and they have to be able to continue to build a nation of our people? They're doing things without natural affection. It ain't even normal. And yet in this society, if you walk around, it's accepted. That goes into what we're going to talk about later. Once they change the laws, they change the laws every week. You think they set in stone? No, they ain't. They moving them laws around to fit their agenda, to get their will done, and to fulfill their purpose, to empower themselves and to take you to the bottom. Those laws are forever changing. Give me that. Go into 1 John. I want 1 John. Give me 1 John chapter 2. 15. Start there.
The book of 1 John, chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world.
And that's how they capture our people. Our people get caught in snares and traps all the time, because we've been without things so long, and we're lusting after things that we want, and we're trying to achieve or be able to be accepted, or to be able to have accolades, or be able to be looked upon as somebody special. I'm good at this. Look at me. Whoa, look at me. But there's a price for it you have to pay. Read that from the top.
Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world.
There's things in this world that brings forth snares and traps. And I'm telling you, our people have to come up. They have to realize and recognize that we as a people are more honorable people than that. We are. We are honorable. We have to take our rightful place, Israel. And so it is. Read on. Close that out.
If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
And when you start beginning to be a partaker of what's going on in and around you, this nation, the Most High ain't dealing with you, because it's going to go contrary against what the Most High said. It's against the will of the Father. That's what it is. So we're talking about, are you going to prep to live, or are you going to prep to die? So I want to start with this, Officer Eliakim. Give me Hosea 12 and 10. We're going to get there, y'all.
The book of Hosea, chapter 12, verse 10.
I
have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets.
And the thing of it is that it's so vital, it's essence that we hear from the prophets. You know what I'm saying, officer? That we hear from the prophets. We need the prophets to be able to help guide such a great people. When we look back in our history, we totally see that God has always instituted great leaders for us. And so it was then, and so it is today. We always had great leaders. And the thing that what makes us great is that when we do what it is that God tells us to do, and when we hear from the prophets that has assigned us to do the things they commanded us to do by the will of God, when we do those things, we're successful. Every time Israel done well, they were successful doing the will of God. That's where our greatest success came in. It's when we do the will of God. Let's get that in 40 and 8. Psalms 40 and 8.
The book of Psalms, chapter 40 and verse 8.
Uh-huh.
I delight to do thy will, O my God. Yea, thy law is within my heart.
Those things that God told us to do ought to be in our spirits. It ought to be in our mind. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. I will do it, Lord. Those things ought to be in us. That is our satisfaction. That is our yea and amen. That's what we want. That's how we have to walk. If you walk anything contrary to that, you begin to be carnal and you begin to walk other ways that the Most High hadn't commanded us. You begin to do those things that He talked about and told us in our history, that sometimes we do those things that are pleasurable to us. And those are the things that gets us in trouble. So here's the battle that we're in. I want to touch on this. Get 2nd Ezra 7 and 56. It's a battle, Israel. It's a battle. I come to think and come to realize that and recognize that what we in, it's a fight. You're in the fight. You're in the fighting. It is. And the thing of it is it's not like it says that the enemy go away for a season, but you still on the battlefield. You're still on the battlefield. You're still trying to endure. Read verse 7:56.
2nd Ezra, chapter 7, verse 56.
Uh-huh.
For while we lived and committed iniquity, we considered not that we should begin to suffer for it after death.
Right. We don't know, but the time is going to come if we don't endure, if we don't be steadfast, we don't hold fast to the confession of our faith, that the time that's going to come, that the things that we're fighting for, read it from the top again.
For while we lived and committed iniquity,
because we transgressed the laws, we broke them. While we lived, we did that. Now in the time of repentance, read on.
We considered not that we should begin to suffer for it after death.
So now we realize that, hey, listen, if I don't get myself together, there's going to be a judgment for this thing. There's going to be a judgment for how I handle myself. It's going to be a judgment for how I handle my brother. You know what I'm saying? How I handle my brother. I have to handle you all right. I can't handle you in any kind of way. I'm telling you, that is the whole thing that goes into Matthew 18. Everybody use it. Matthew, I'm trying to win my brother over. What I got to do to win my brother over? How can I help? That's what it's going to take. Read.
Verse 57. Then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle.
We're in a condition. The thing that we're trying to do, overcome, we're in a battle. We're in a battle, Israel. And even as we talk about, are you prepping to live or you prepping to die? We're in a battle. Yeah.
Because you touched what you touching on, right? You said we're on the battle. Part of that battle is, like you said, striving to win your brothers, striving to keep the unity, right? Because if we don't do that, it goes back to what 2 Timothy said. Those perilous times are going to come because the things that they listened under it was all pushing what? Individuality, being lovers of yourselves, being boasters, covetous. All that pushes what you being by yourself, only looking out for yourself. That's what's going to bring forth the perilous times, the famine. But if we strive to keep the unity, we won't have to worry about that. The Most High say He's gonna give us prophets to show us how to keep these laws, keep the unity. All right?
That's the point. I think that what you're talking about, officers, is so real. 1 Corinthians chapter 12. Can we get that, Elijah? Officer, I want to talk about us, more about us. And we'll get to the other nations. But it's vital that we have a sense of helps or caring for ourselves. So,
1
12.
Corinthians chapter 12, verse 24.
Read that.
For our comely parts have no need, but God hath tempered the body together, having given more abundant honor to that part which lacketh, that there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care one for another.
Oh, boy, that was heavy right there. Did you hear that, Israel? Did you hear that? Read it from the top again. Start at 24.
Verse 24. For our comely parts have no need, but God hath tempered the body together.
So here it is that when you look up in the verse, it's talking about that it goes on and say, well, I have no need of thee. It may be talking about the feet. You say, well, that's a lesser part. I don't use it that much. My elbow, I don't really need it that much. You know, but God takes those things that are part of the body and he tempers it, or he brings it to a place where it shows for prosperity in the body. And in other words, it brings balance to the body. And so he says, read it from the top again.
For our comely parts have no need.
So we might think that some things are more needful than others. But let's talk about the body, how it actually works. Read on.
But God hath tempered the body together.
God sets it in a place where he's able to use all parts of the body. Read on.
Having given more abundant honor to that part which lacketh.
And so you say that part of that eye or that shoulder or that knee, I don't need it as much, but that is the part that he tempers to bring balance to the body. Read.
That there should be no schism in the body.
Now we begin to see that we are whole, that there should not be no issues and concerns in the body. The elbow needs the shoulder. You know, the knee needs the thigh, or whatever the case, the eye needs the ears. The point of the matter is like, even for my body, you know, I got a sprained shoulder, but yet and still, the other shoulder helps shoulder some of the things that I have to do. But the point of it, that I need that shoulder, you know, so it goes into that. But read on. Read 25 again.
But, that there should be no schism in the body. But that the members should have the same care one for another.
But the members should have the same care one for another. We should have a care one for another. You know how things can be. Israel, like, you know, we have a care one for another. And we have a feast day coming up. So a feast day is coming up. I'll give you an example. So everybody's getting their attire ready for the feast. So brother may walk up and say, hey, you got your gear? You got your garment? Like, yeah, I got my garment. You say, what about you, bro? You got your garment? He'd be like, no, I ain't got my garment. And you're like, you ain't got your garment? But it may be something that he may need help or assistance with, right? That's why you want to have a care for a person. You know what I mean? You want to say, hey, you okay? You good? You know, is there something we can do to help you? You know, it might be that he might need a little help. Read that part again. That there
should be no schism in the body. But that the members should have the same care one for another.
That's just going in helping, being there one for another, Israel. It goes into that. The schism part, we'd be like, oh, yeah, you know, he's acting different. No, it can be just something as simple as having a care for your brother. It doesn't mean somebody have to be off. It just means that we need to be there one for another, that there be no schism, there'll be no differences. You got your garment. Let's make sure the brother's garment up. That's all we're talking about here. That's having a care for a person. We can't do those things. That's the mindset that it's going to take for us as things go on, as we begin to see how things are going to come forward toward us. We got to have a care for one for another, Israel. We got to be able to take it farther than where we have taken it before. I'm telling you. I talked to a local realtor, and she was talking about the housing market, and what she was saying that this is the South now. Be mindful. She was saying down here, she said that people can't even live in Charlotte now. It's the prices is getting to that point. And the price point that she was talking about, it reminded me of prices that I hear in other cities that those prices been at for years. She was talking some heavy numbers. She was almost up to $500,000, man, you know, to get the house you're looking for. I'm like, I said, here in Charlotte, she said, this is happening. She said, this is happening. And people are actually taking houses, outbidding people. It's just unbelievable. Just couldn't take it. So we got to be a people that we have a care for one for another. So let's be mindful, Israel, that we got to take on that mindset to be there for our brothers and our sisters. We do. We have to have a care for them. So with that, okay, you got something you want to bring out? Okay.
I want to back you up, Cap, with the helping one another. Let me get Deuteronomy 15:7 real quick, and show how we always took care of each other, and we had to, and this coming out of the law, so we had to have that same. We got to establish the law amongst the body, so we can't. We got people that are lacking amongst the body, and then not able, because everybody's not able to do certain things in the body, where it take money, where money is needed. Some people are hurting in these last days. Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother.
It says, shall not harden thy heart. Because some people, you'll get a spirit on you when you see a brother that's always lacking. Some people might have a spirit on them where it see that as a burden. But the Lord said, well, you shall not harden your what? Thou shalt
not harden thine heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother. But thou shalt open thine hand wide unto him.
So if you are able to help your brother, then read on.
And shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need in that which he wanted.
Which he lacking. Okay, so like Kat was just bringing out, everybody not able to do amongst the body, but we as being our fellow brethren, we supposed to be there to assist them if they have need. Go ahead, Cap.
Hey, just before you go, Cap, jump down to verse 11.
Verse 11.
Just to add to what the officer said.
For the poor shall never cease out of the land.
That's what we need to understand. We're going to always have poor amongst us. So it might be you one day, however God might judge, but we got to understand that our people's going to always be in need. And when these perilous times come, this famine come, they're going to be in need and more. So that's why they also brought great script, great precept. We got to make sure we have our hands as wide open. Why? Because you helping your brothers, you helping yourself. That's what Cap brought out in 1 Corinthians. We got to make sure we learn to have care for our brothers and sisters, as the same as we do with ourselves. All right.
There's more on it, officer. We ain't done with that yet, Israel. And I think that here's what's vital at, is that this application needs to be applied. I think we do it in some things when we sit there and say we might be good at something like babysitting, that we could watch another member's child or something, or perhaps we'll help a brother or sister, with a meal or something, Those things, you're good at. You're really good at. But when you have to apply yourself to be there for somebody that may be needing assistance in housing, and so we have to be there for our brothers. It could be something that starts out, an accident can come about. And when an accident come about, their life could be altered in just that day. And then we have to be there, make sure that they're taken care of. I mean, literally spring into action and help that brother, help that sister to continue to live and be supported. And it can be nothing of their own. It could be an accident. But we have to have that mindset that we got to be there one for another. So let's continue that thought. I don't want to get away from it, because that's the foundation of who we really are. And we say, oh, I love the Lord. Well, he said, well, feed my people. He sat there and say, shelter my people. He said, when you visit the sick, he said, when you done unto them, you done unto me. So we have to really begin to earnestly begin to muster up that spirit in us, that we be there like that, because the perilous times and the things that's coming down the pipe, how they get ready to handle some of these things that we're not being forward about. We're going to try to express them here with you all this morning, Israel. Hopefully they'll be able to glean from some of these things. But, the enemy is wroth with us. We're the most hated people on the earth. So there's nothing it's not like we're surprised, but we really have to be able to come together as a nation of people. So give me that right quick in Sirach 29:1. Let me have verse 1. Then we'll drop down.
The book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 29, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
He that is merciful will lend unto his neighbor.
A brother, a sister may be established, but a brother has established himself. He can help his brother. Read.
And he that strengtheneth his hand keepeth the commandments.
He that was able to get himself in a position as he kept the Most High commandment can also be able to be able to help a brother that may need help. Drop down and go to, start at verse 9. This is what y'all was talking about.
Verse 9.
Uh-huh.
Help the poor
Help your brother.
for the commandments' sake.
Uh-huh.
And turn him not away because of his poverty.
Right. You know he have need of thee. He's asking of you. That's when you want to be there. Listen, when you need help, that's the worst time for somebody to deal with you wrong. There's a precept about that. Don't deal with a brother when he reaches his hand out to you. I'm telling you. You get that one? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Okay, well, you can handle that, but read on.
Lose thy money for thy brother and thy friend.
Right, meaning that if they need the help, what are you doing holding on to it? Man, I got to hold it over for a rainy day. Negro, please. Your whole house get ready to get collapsed in. You know what I'm saying? You sitting there trying to hold back the bread, hold back the covers, you trying to hold back the help, the shelter, the food, the raiment for them. Read on.
And let it not rust under a stone to be lost.
So it's going. You hear what it said? It's going to be lost. You're going to lose it anyway. Tell me I got to put a transmission in the car. I know you do. Just stingy self. You know I run over 4 nails. I got 4 flats. Yep, you the guy. With your stingy self. Read on.
Lay up thy treasure according to the commandments of the Most High.
Right. Read.
And it shall bring thee more profit than gold.
Verse 12.
Shut up alms in thy storehouses.
So now so what happened here was the brother in verse 1, this is him. He done that thing. He was able to help his neighbor because he done those things according to the commandments. He was able to shut up alms in his storehouse. And so when his brother needed help, he could be there for him. And we can tell as we go down a little farther that he meant well, that he wanted to help his brother and making sure that he did because he realized that, there's going to be a time come, somebody's going to come up short. But you know what, Most High, you allow me to be able to put these funds back, and now I see why I was able to put it back because my brother have need of me. Read on.
And it shall deliver thee from all affliction.
It shall deliver thee from all affliction. That's how it's able to help. That's how it's supposed to produce. That's how it's supposed to come back to you, Israel. Drop on down. Go to verse 20.
Verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
Help thy neighbor according to thy power.
Read.
And beware that thou thyself fall not into the same.
That's what he was talking about. It went into that a little earlier, that he was able to establish himself. He was able to put where he could help. He didn't give him his last. He didn't give him his last. He was able to help him. So if you have that extra, help your brother, your sister. Help somebody, brother or sister may need a garment. Help them out. Show that charity. And that thing be helpful to somebody's spirit. And they getting ready for the feast day, and they realize that, you purchased that garment for them. That they like, man, I wouldn't have had it if sister, brother so-and-so, the house of so-and-so wouldn't have done this for me. And that's taking care of the people. You can imagine that person feel good. And then you go and they see you at the feast and they come to you and they put their arms around you. And it was all about that you were just showing charity to them and stuff like that. And they say, I appreciate you. That thing goes a long way. That goes into building the nation. That goes in that charity. That goes in long suffering with our brothers and sisters. We need that thing, Israel. We need that thing. Is that all, officer? You got something?
Yes, sir. Because to your point, Cap, because what we need to understand is we all in captivity. At the end of the day, we all are in captivity, whether you rich or poor. Mm-hmm. And like the captain's bringing out, there's things. We're not saying if you rich or all of us can all be in a position to help someone else from time to time. It's all about if you have enough to give. But let me give a script real quick. 1 Timothy chapter 6. Just going into those who have more than enough. You know, the Most High didn't give you that just so you can just keep, like the scripture said, in storehouse in your bank. No, he blessed you with that to what? Bless your people to when they're in time of need. All right. First Timothy chapter 6, start at verse 17.
1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 17. Charge them that are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded.
So that goes back to what we read in 2 Timothy, talking about being proud or lovers of themselves. Read.
Nor trust in uncertain riches.
Don't trust in uncertain riches. You are still a nigga in this world's eye. You are still you are still at the bottom of the food chain. We all in captivity. Oprah knows that. All those billionaires are successful. They still are treated like any other Negro around the world, no matter how much money you got. Read it again.
Charge them that are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but in the living God, who giveth us richly all things to enjoy.
That's who we need to have our trust in. Trust in the Most High. Trust in God and His people, that He's going to deliver us out of this captivity. That's what we need to be working towards. Read on.
That they do good, that they be rich in good works.
That's where we need to look at. That's where our riches need to be in, not into these banks and in this world of today, but we need to store treasures in heaven. Store those treasures in His truth. All right, push the truth, like Cap said. If you see a brother in need of a garment, you got a garment. You got 2-3 garments. You probably bought it just extra just because you don't want to get dingy or whatnot. Hey, get a brother a garment if he in need. That's what the scripture is going into. When you have more, when you have more than enough, you have that for your people. It's not for you. All right, that's all I got.
All praise, officer. So go back, Eliakim. Let's go back to 20. We're gonna work our way down to 21.
Sirach, chapter 29, verse 21. The chief thing for life is water and bread and clothing and an house to cover shame.
You see how life should be? That's why we was talking about love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. The Bible tells us and lets us know whatever state you find yourself in, you need to find yourself to be content. Sometimes we go over and above and beyond, and sometimes we do it because we want we want to be accepted. You know, we want to be a part of a particular group. We thinking that if we have this status that you just have to be mindful that these are good instructions, and that, you know, a house to cover your shame. You know, these are things that you need, that you don't need to overdo it. In Israel, we've been here, and a lot of times those things, or those cares, those snares, they get us because we think we have to have the latest. We think we have to have those MJs. We want that thing. We want somebody to accept it. Hey, they look at you, man, won't even acknowledge sometimes. You have something on, or may purchase something, you may get something and stuff like that. You know, they'll look at it for whatever reason. They say, hey, they might like the tennis shoes, they might not. You know, I'm just telling you. But I'm telling you, the chief things in life, read that again.
The chief thing for life is water.
We need water is good. And when we go in and start looking at prepping, water is more important. I tell you what, you give me the water, I give you the iWatch. Give me the water, you get the iWatch. We'll see what's important. Talking about the iWatch can help me exercise and monitor my heartbeat. It don't put no food in your stomach. It tells you you're hungry. That's what it tells you. That's what it tells you. Read that from the top again.
The chief thing for life is water and bread.
And bread, those are things essential. That's what a man needs. I'm telling you. It didn't say you need those MJs. You know, it didn't say nothing about no particular bag to throw over your shoulder. It didn't say that. These are essentials. These things can keep you living, can help you. Because the way they conducted themselves, as the world began to prep itself and as it began to prep out, You're going to need things like this. Because they automatically beginning to turn things off. Things are beginning to vanish away on the shelves. Governments and governors are setting things in places and begin to alter how things are coming and happening in their state. They got a trailer full of stuff they ain't even allow them to come into the country. They engineering starvation. You talking about a third world country? It's happening right here. And so we've been given good counsel on how to govern ourselves and begin to set things aside for ourselves. But it's going to require a lot more of us, Israel. You got something else?
Yeah, that's a good point you make. Like Cap just said, he said these people are engineering starvation. They engineering the famine. It's all the work of the Lord. The Lord got these people doing evil. The Lord is in control of all things. So the Lord has a wicked on the earth that's perpetuating these things throughout the earth, all for the glory of the nation of Israel. Let's get Tobit 2:1. So being that we knowing these things are coming, we have to look out for our brothers, our sisters. We have to be looking out for them in these trying times. Because, it can't be let me get myself together for myself. No, when you get your household together, think about your own. Think about your people. Think about the people in the congregation that they're not able to get themselves together. Okay, let's get that Tobit 2:1 and read 1 and 2.
Tobit, chapter 2, verses 1 and 2.
So the Bible said we're supposed to use our forefathers as an example. So let's get an example of the prophet Tobit. Read on.
Now when I was come home again, and my wife Anna was restored unto me, with my son Tobias in the feast of Pentecost, which is
so one thing we're seeing that he's keeping the feast of Pentecost, like we about to, like it's coming up upon us. Tobit kept the feast of Pentecost. Read on.
Which is the holy feast of the 7 weeks.
The 7 weeks. 7 weeks in a day. Read on, which made 50 days. Pentecost. Read on.
There was a good dinner prepared me, in the which I sat down to eat. And when I saw abundance of meat.
So when Tobit seen that he had abundance of meat, that I can't eat all this by myself, what did Tobit do?
I said to my son, go and bring what poor man soever thou shalt find out of our brethren, who is mindful of the Lord.
Who is what?
Who is mindful of the Lord.
Who is mindful of the Lord, meaning he kept the laws of God. Okay? Tobit, he had abundance, and he shared it with his brethren that was mindful of the Lord. Not no wicked nigga that not keeping God's laws, but who was mindful of the Lord, who kept God's laws. So that's the same mindset. That's the same mindset we got to have in these last days, because we're going to need it. All right, Cap.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, you got something?
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Yes, sir. And just that was a great example. And it's another example, too, that we can read about. Let's get Genesis 41. Because Joseph did the same thing. And even though he was doing it for Pharaoh, for Egypt, you gotta remember Egypt was the rulership of that time. So he was doing it for his people also. Because when we read further in this chapter, who had to come to him and get food? His brothers, right? So the Most High used Joseph as well as a prophet to what? To get that to survive them through the famine. All right, and how did he do that? By what? By the spirit of the Lord, and also what? Preparing. What Captain going into preparing. All right, let's get that in 41. Let's start at I'll just get to the point. Verse 15. 15 to 16.
Genesis chapter 41, verse 15. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of thee that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace.
So Joseph told Pharaoh, he said it wasn't him that was able to interpret the dream to survive Egypt and all the land past the famine. It was the Most High, like the officer said. God has his hand on all this. He has his hand. I mean, we hear about the trailers and the ships not bringing in food, and like Cap said, it's gonna come a time where it is gonna touch our doorsteps. But we gotta remember that God is gonna set men in place, and He's gonna show, and they're gonna prepare us to survive this thing. We just gotta make sure we keep the unity. Those that have more than others, you're set in the body to be a safe haven, to be a angel to that person, to be a help to that person. We just got to remember that thing. All right? That's all I got.
You know, to that point, officer, that takes me to this point. I just want to let Israel, we want to make sure that we're speaking on what charity looks like and how it should be applied, and the history of how we always help and been there one for another. And so, in doing that, it's going to be, we have to come to that place again, because based on a lot of things that's happening, and they're actually ramping things up, and it's going faster than what a lot of us see or maybe don't see. But we need to be mindful that we sit there and edify people during times like this, that they may know the way that the Lord takes. So with that, let's go to, there's a video, right? I want to get a video. I'm going to show you this video. I want you to see this video here. Go to, not to that one, that one. Let's time stamp it. I think we did it already. So let me just set it up for you. These are some well-to-do people, and they came together as a community. And it's what we are. We're a community. We're a nation of people. But they came together for one purpose, and that is to try to sustain their lives themselves. And in doing such, they came from all different lives, but yet and still they came together with one cause and one purpose. So these are some of your more advanced preppers. These guys right here, they pretty much a pretty big community. I think what I wanted to say was that they put a lot of money into this. Yeah, they well influenced. Yeah, you're right about that. So let it play. 6 figures and up. Right.
One and anyone. You could be from any walk of life.
Jason's a fireman. You have one woman she's an attorney. I work for a high-tech company. My wife's a university professor.
Pause it right there. Those are some of the best well-paying jobs in America.
You heard professor, you heard attorney, you heard fireman.
IT.
IT. He said he didn't say what company, so it must be something a major company.
Universities and stuff like that.
All right, so they got some money.
What is it that they know that they would come together? You got something like with that?
Yes, sir. They try to portray someone who's prepping of this nature as, an old hillbilly or somebody with some wintergreen in their mouth or some tinfoil hat type wearing people. Yeah. But no, these people are intelligent. They're well-to-do. As Officer Yehiel said, they're affluent. These people, they're educated, and they know how they should be rolling as far as preparation goes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Let it play.
That this group is hard up, tinfoil wearing, conspiracy theories. No.
Watch a documentary on Katrina. Look at something about Sandy. Look at the, years afterwards. Look at Puerto Rico right now.
No power, no electricity.
I was there for 9/11.
The crime is out of control.
The system will be overwhelmed.
The U.S. Pause right there. So what he said was that the system is going to be overwhelmed. They giving you a couple of scenarios, right? Katrina, right? Went down there and stuff like that. Those people had to literally leave that area because there was no help. There was no police. There was nothing down there. They literally had to grab what they had and get the hell out of New Orleans. It was rough on them. And they were just coming everywhere by the carloads, grab what they could. They were just going Georgia, Mississippi. They didn't care where they went because they knew that place, it wasn't habitable. They couldn't stay there no more.
And Kat, what's crazy is you got to think about this is Esau, so even though we know Katrina, it majority affected our people. Mm-hmm. But Esau seen that and looked at it, okay, that's going to affect me too down the road. So I need to start preparing now. So that's what Bishop said all the time. You know, Negro, we only think about 2-3 minutes ahead, or maybe a day ahead. Esau think years ahead. He think years ahead. He's seen Katrina, and he knew, okay, I might want to start preparing for this because that's going to affect the whole economy down the road. And that's how he didn't just think about that on his own. He got it from him. We used to be a preparing people too. We got to get to that same thing. We can't just look at something happen, that happened, and then way over there in New Orleans, that ain't gonna. That's sad, and that's it. No, we got to think. Okay, that's our people over there. Let's start preparing to make sure that don't happen again. You know.
And they taking those situations you're talking about, like you said, they changed how they live based on those situations. They begin to live differently. Like, no, we can't live like this. You know, we got to be in better shape. And he's going to begin to expound on how they begin to prepare for things such as that. Is that the time step? Can we move on? Is there more to it? All right, let it play.
Some people think having a flashlight and a can of beans is it. It isn't.
Pause right there. And that's what we're talking about here. Prepping to live, not prepping to die. Not so much we're setting up, trying to establish this kingdom and stay here longer. That's not what we're talking about, Israel. What we're talking about is that we're going to need essentials ourselves. We need essentials too. We like to drink water too. We like to eat bread too. This is not about them. It's about us. We got children too. So we have to be mindful. You got something else?
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like he just said, he said a lot of people think it's just about beans and a flashlight, a can of beans and a flashlight. You got to be thinking outside the box. You got to be thinking, okay, can openers, okay, to open it. Another thing is, like, if you buying beans and rice and stuff like that, what if, and you might have water, but what if you can't cook those things? You know what I mean? To the point where it's edible. You know, you got to be thinking outside the box. You might have those things like rice, beans, but are you going to be able to cook it so you can eat it? So you got to be thinking of ways that you can cook it. You know, that's the point.
And also, just like I remember leadership mentioned a couple of weeks ago before the Passover, they was saying how we need to start storing things that's unleavened. I mean, don't get things where you don't have you can only store for a moment of time. No, store it. Like when we say it again, we glean off the scriptures. Store things that we can store for a period of time. Corn, like you said, rice, big things that we know is non-perishables. You know, don't just throw anything up in there like or Oreos or something that you a little dainties you won't know. We're preparing for the future, not for tomorrow, but for the future, years to come.
What was that? You said something?
Yes, sir. You wanted to hold that, Sirach 39? You wanted to hold that?
Yeah, you pull it.
Okay. Sirach chapter 39, verse 25. Because
go ahead. You read it for me.
we read the basics: food, water, clothing, house to cover shame, right? And there also is another list here listed in Sirach that deals with resources. Resources, right? Things to utilize for our benefit, things that we need. To go along with the necessities, also these tools and these what you call resources. Read that verse 26.
Sirach chapter 37, verse 26. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water.
So water, we drink water, right? And that goes. There are things that go underneath each one of these categories as well. What's the next one? Fire, like Officer Yehiel brought out, the means to cook or warmth, all right, or means to create tools or to burnish things, or to some things need to be prepared with fire. You need to heat it to a certain temperature for it to work. Read.
Iron,
that goes into tools, resources, like he said, pocket knife, flashlight, kerosene lamp, things like that. All these types of tools, but we need iron for that. We need metal. Read.
And salt,
some seasonings to go on the food. Okay, we saved that. We froze a brisket, we froze a lamb, right, in our deep freezer, but we also got a little seasoning or herbs, right, mint, thyme, and these other types of things. Bay leaves. Read.
Flour of wheat,
that goes into all types of grains, right? All the types of grains that are non-perishable that we can be storing up like we've done in the buckets or the Mylar bags with the oxygen absorbers. Read.
Honey.
Honey, right? The dainties. And honey itself is a superfood, and it's a non-perishable. It's considered to be a non-perishable, right? Read.
Milk.
Milk. All types of things go into milk as well. What? Cheese. You could get butter from it, right? And if you got milk, you got a milk animal. It's not just talking about setting it up. No, you might have a goat, right? A little cheap goat. Get you a cow, perhaps, if you got some more land than that. So you got the thing that the milk comes from. Read.
The blood of the grapes.
The blood of the grape, right? A vineyard, a barrel of wine might be several $100s, but if you preparing ahead of time, shoot, you might have some seeds that you put down 2 years before. You could barrel it up yourself. You don't have to buy it. Read.
And oil.
And oil. Oil, that goes into, shoot, you need some spare lotion as well, don't you? Right? But oil goes into all types of things require oil. Gasoline, right? Lamps, lights, right? Candles, read.
And clothing.
And clothing, all right? So those are resources.
Yeah, but that's those are the things you have need of. You know, those are the things that you want to be able to extract from. You know, to be able to have the help yourself and help your people. I mean, you know, when you look at this, you know, like you said, you know, a lot of things that we have, we really don't need. You know what I mean? A lot of things that we desire, that's what they want. They are their wants and lusts. But you get to a place where things get hard on you, that go to sound good over there. Nah. You be like, yeah, keep talking. I see you over there, baby. I got you. That goat gonna be on time. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell you. It don't make no sense. And I'm telling you, you eating that GMO that food and stuff like that, it's all chewy and it's all plastic. Shoot, you'd be glad to have that goat. That thing, boy, I'm telling you, look what we got. Thank you, Jesus. That'll be a thank you, Jesus moment, right? Yeah. So I want to pull up another video. Let's pull this video. Pull up the one, the video, I think it goes with the canning. It was. I'm gonna show you something about canning. It's like, can I see it? That guy right there. That's him. That's him. Now pull it up. But before you show it, he's trying to be funny. He's trying to make it comical. It was a little comical, but I want y'all to get the point out of it. And what it is that I want you to see that he's right. These things can be done. This was popular in the 60s. It was popular in the 70s. I remember this happened in our houses a lot. And I talked to people practically my age. Everybody remember this like it was yesterday. And so what we would do, we would prep for the summertime. We would prep for the winter, because what would happen is that our incomes weren't like they are today. We relied on our resources. These was items that we picked from the garden: green beans. We would can peaches. We would can blackberries. We would can apples. We would can things something like cha-cha. Y'all don't know what that is. It was as old school hot sauce, or it was called cha-cha.
And Cap, so you said we relied on that clearance sale, huh?
Right. But you know what? The thing that I would say that we relied on us taking care of ourselves. We knew how to make it happen. We did those things. So he's got a process. I want y'all to see this. And it's still happening today. He knows about it. So he's doing the process. Yeah. Oh, that's who it is? Okay. So he's canning. He's canning. So let it play. Yeah. Is it?
I'm sorry, I can't take that seriously with demise.
Ever since I learned how to can my own food, thank you, Homestead Heart, I've learned one thing. I've learned that it gets addicting. It's not playing. It's not a game.
Pause right there. That company been around for years. It's called Ball, right? Ball. And one of the things that what it is that with canning, and you use jars, but once you get up close to the process, it has like a lid, and you have to boil the lid, and you have to boil the ring to it too. You have to boil the bottle, the glass, all that. You have to boil it, right? For an example, and when you boil it, that rubber at the top, right? It's at the top. It'll get soft, right? But once you begin to put your ingredients, whatever you store in there, and then once you put it on there and tighten it up, once that rubber get hot, it'll seal everything in there. That's why it's able to last for throughout the winter for you. It lasts a long time. So canning is a process that a lot of us can use this avenue to be able to put things away that will last us a long time. Because once it's sealed, it's sealed. It kind of goes. It was one of the things they did before I said canning, but that's what I wanted to make the point. A lot of those processing, like we was doing back there, putting food in jars, cans came out. We had cans too, but that process was just as good as canning. You know what I'm saying? Let it play.
This ain't a game. You see this? It gets addicting to the point you try to can everything that you can. This is the results of my very first canning. 3 quarts of turkey. Look at how beautiful that is.
And you see, hold right there. And you see that he got the lid on it. It's sealed. It's hot. And that's how you put it away. That's how he's going to store it just like that. And all you need is heat. And you got something to eat. Because you might not be able to run to the grocery store. The supply line might be cut up. You got to have something. You got to have something to eat, Israel. Play on. Canning addiction.
Didn't I tell you? Pop, boom, ping, pow, bang, pow. They all popped. Already, you see them in there gurgling? You see them still in there cooking and gurgling? Like we done pressure can do? Didn't I tell you? Pow, bang, pow, ping, pang, pong, pow, pow, ra-ta-ta-ta, ra-ta-ta.
Boom. Brisket, baby. Straight brisket.
Pause right there. But you can see that the things that can be done, Israel. You can see that we can take and be able to help ourselves, and while we have the opportunity to be able to do these things, that's I would say that that's not an overly expensive way. It just takes more work for you to do the process. Those glass jars with the lid, the seal lids and stuff like that. That stuff is not overly expensive. You probably pay more for the meat that you might want to put in it. For an example, the turkey or whatever the case, like he did, that might be more expensive than the jars. So it's the time that you put in there for the process, and to be able to put back things like that. And that's what it's saying, that it goes farther, like you said, than a flashlight, than in the can of beans. It goes into trying to sustain yourself. Because the way they manufacturing things and shutting down some of these pipelines, so to speak, and it's happening real fast. You can drop that video. They're actually doing some things like I was talking about, I think Officer mentioned it, EL. But I wanted you all to pick up on this one. And there's a couple of things they're doing. Let's play the one with come down. It's the one where the CDC guy. Play that. Play the CDC guy. All right. So hold on. Let's preface before we put it up there. Go back a little bit. Right there. Hold right there. I don't know if he was this guy right here was, go back, Robert Redfield. Robert Redfield is the former CDC. He was the former CDC. He was the CDC director when Trump was in office. And so they had him on, and the thing about it is that they're a part of this agenda. So Robert Redfield, he talks about what he knows, that what the CDC knows, what he feels that's coming down the pipe. And so he began to talk about it. And so I got this from a guy, he's talking, but then he's going to let Robert Redfield begin to talk himself, and we begin to hear what he's saying about the things that's about to happen, or he put out there. Play it.
This is Dabu7. I want to share with you here some comments that have been made by the former CDC director that talks about how he believes that C-19 was just basically a prep for what is to come, the big, real pandemic, what he says will be started by a bird flu.
Yeah, I think we have to recognize, I've always said that I think the COVID pandemic was a wake-up call. I don't believe it's the great pandemic. I believe the great pandemic is still in the future, and that's going to be a bird flu pandemic for man. It's going to have significant mortality in the 10 to 50% range. It's going to be trouble, and we should get prepared for it. I do believe that the pandemic risk is a greater risk of the national security of the United States than Korea, China, Russia, Iran.
And with this new bird flu, so to speak, they're saying 24 million birds have already been killed, and that this is something that's popped up in 30 states. Now, with them telegraphing stuff like this, I think it would be wise to take notes, knowing how they operate and what they've done thus far out here on this world stage. It seems some of the biggest players are just openly stating that the next one's coming, that this is what it's going to be in the form of bird flu. And it's already here in the United States, this new variant, so to speak, that they're talking about. I'm going to break this down further on the live stream where I can speak freely
Drop
about
that.
it.
That's it.
Monday, Wednesday.
But the thing about it that he said, what sparked my interest was that he said that he said C-19. He called it C-19. He called COVID C-19. He kicked it off like it wasn't nothing. He just like, oh, that a million people died, man. Please, that ain't nothing, man. We pretty much we got it wrong. But this time right here, man, we're gonna make sure this thing. No. That right there, that wasn't nothing. You know, we expecting a lot more. And yet and still, like even that dude, he was sitting there saying, hey, these people know doggone well what they're talking about and how they're trying to conduct things. And so it's on many, many fronts, this behavior and the things that they're doing and how they're conducting themselves. This is just one of them. And there's another levels of things that they're doing. And so he knows that that these things are possible. I'm not fear-mongering, nothing like that. That's not what this is talking about. This is going into us preparing ourselves. So he knows that these things are coming. He said that it said it would be worse than C-19. He called it C-19, like it wasn't nothing. You got something else?
Yeah, it's a good point you're making, Cap. And basically, so we know that that these the pestilence is of the devil. We know that the famine is of the devil. So let me get 1 Corinthians 10 and 11, because Christ told us in Matthew 24, chapter 24, that you shall hear wars and rumors of war, pestilences, famines. The Lord told us that these things were gonna come upon us. So let's get 1 Corinthians 10 and 11 and read that.
1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 11.
Uh-huh.
Now all these things happen unto them for examples.
So all the things from Genesis to Revelations are examples for us. Okay, the famines that our forefathers went through since Genesis. Okay, the pestilence that our people went through, and all the examples of the warnings that Christ gave us. Read on. And
they are written for our admonition.
For our what?
For our admonition.
For our warning. It's written to warn us, to get ready, prepare. Read on.
Upon whom the ends of the world are come.
Upon who?
upon whom the ends of the world are come.
So we're the ones whom that are in the ends of the world. At this time, yeah, they supposed to took those things and use them as their examples, but it's also it was for us, upon whom the ends of the world has come. We're in the end of the world right now. We're in the last days right now. So this is all examples for us to get ready for these things because they are coming. Go ahead, Cap.
Hey, yeah, just to add to that, Austin, and that's why the next verse. Just read that. Let's read the next verse, verse 12.
Verse 12. Wherefore, let him that thinketh he standeth take heed, lest he fall.
It says, take heed, meaning prepare. Prepare. Everything, they all saying the same thing. We have to make sure we prepare. Don't think this kingdom gonna last forever. Like the Cap said, the signs has been in the scriptures since the beginning. The Bible ain't changed. They ain't gonna Esau's not gonna they ain't gonna let us know till it's too late. So we can't rely on them. We even got a video with the man actually telling himself. He said COVID was a nothing. Like Cap said, that was just a trial. These plagues is not going nowhere. Just to get off that, give me 2nd Ezra 16. I'll give it back to you, Cap. Just to let you know, these plagues are not going nowhere. They don't keep coming. All right, 16, start at verse 7.
2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 7. May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer?
So it's saying if you take an archer, he pulls that bow back. It's only one way that bow gonna go. Ain't no way when he let go it's going backwards or it's going sideways. It says only one way. He said, read it again.
May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer?
Are you going to be able to turn that arrow away? No, it's going to go one way. That's 4. Read.
The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away?
The Most High already started with these plagues. These plagues is already here. He started the clock. It's ticking. No one is going to stop that clock. That's what God is saying. Read on.
A fire shall go forth.
I'm sorry. Jump down to verse 14.
Verse 14. Behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again.
These plagues are not going to stop coming. This famine is not going to stop coming. We have to prepare Israel. All right, we have to. That's all I got.
Absolutely. I'm up to heavy precept, also. I tell you, to the point that what they're doing is they're changing things around, and what happens a lot of times, we're not aware of it. Let me give you an example of what I noticed. So they had things in COVID restriction, C-19, as he said. So they had it, and then there was things they had in place. So what it was that if you were in a city that had those restrictions, as some of the athletes or sports guys couldn't play in their own state because of the regulations. And so when the team went to another location, another city that didn't have those regulations, they told the player, you can play in this game. So the player would be able to play in this game. But when he came back to his city that had the regulations, they said, you can't play in this game. And so because you're not in compliance. And so you had players that was like, well, all right, I'll be in compliance. I'll do what you tell me to do. And that's what they would do. They was getting in compliance because they wanted to be able to play from city to city, right? So as the time went on with C-19, what do you have? You have other sports begin to take place, right? So here it is, baseball came about. And so it was time for them to go back out onto the field. Then they came in and stepped in and changed the rules and basically said, you don't need to change, they end up letting them come out and play baseball, and nobody needed to be the jab. They let them all come back in day one. They let them all come back in, none of them had to take a job. Then they told the black ball players, basically, now y'all can play in every city. But until then, they held that standard up like you have to be in compliance. If you're not in compliance, you can't play. Then when they all came back to play baseball in New York City, when they came back to play baseball in Texas, when they came back to play baseball in St. Louis, they told all those guys, none of y'all need to be, none of y'all all in compliance. You don't need nothing. Don't worry about it. Just come back on the field and play. This is what we're talking about when we read Daniel 7:25. Read that.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High,
Mm-hmm.
and shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
And so the law, sometime that you will have a law in place, it's against Israel. The law, they just put it out there and stuff like that. Yep, you have to be in compliance if you want to play basketball. Yep, you have to be in compliance if you want to do this. They'll do Israel like that. They'll do them. You had, even when the NFL season was going on, them boys was not taking that thing, but they forced Israel to take them. And Israel didn't even pony up and say, hey, listen, I got a teammate. He ain't taking it. You know, he playing. They wouldn't even hold him accountable. And you had owners saying that my team is practically 100%. Yeah, because it's mostly made up of Jake. But you let Esau not even take it. They changed the laws. They fixed them according to how they want to deal. Yeah, and he was sitting over there and stuff like that. Told everybody, say, "Are you good?" He, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I met everything. And come to find out, his ass ain't nobody stuck a needle in his arm. You couldn't make that up. And he lied. I thought they was going to turn around and find him and then take him away about 3 or 4 games. He was right back on the field the following Sunday. So they didn't do nothing. The rules, the laws don't apply to them. They don't, Israel. So when these laws come out, that's why, like, the people on the job, they were so leaning forward trying to go and get what they told them to get. They say, you want to I was talking to the guy, I said, on the job, I said, hey, man, I said, you good? You know, he said, yeah, I done got all mine. I told him, I said, I want you to know, they got some more for your ass. I said, they are not through with you. You do know that. Talking about leave me alone. I said, I ain't going to leave you alone. I got one. I want to poke your ass too. So it was one of those things that, yeah, you know, because it goes back to what we was talking about when the other players showed up for the other sport officer. I'll let you say something. They didn't even make them
quick,
up.
I just want to say that should raise a red flag because you can see what they deliberately trying to push it on one particular group of people. You seeing it, so that's supposed to raise a red flag, especially for us that's trying to keep God's laws in the faith. We supposed to see what's going on. You know, even you would think that our people in the world would see it and then make them want to get their spirit right, but they blinded. But that's supposed to raise a red flag when you see that they are really trying to push this on particular people. Go ahead, Cap.
Yeah, because I was just gonna mention when it first came out, when it first broke out. You gotta remember the type. Just think about all the types of jobs that was really affected when it hit. Those upper middle class, upper Fortune 500 companies. What they had them do? Oh, just work at home. Right. Just take your laptop or just work at home. You good. You don't gotta take no job. But the lower class, no, you got to. Like you mentioned now, like what you mentioned, they targeting you. They targeting the 12 tribes. They targeting you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's who they was targeting. That's why that guy he stood bold. He's like, yeah, that wasn't nothing. Why? Because it didn't do what they wanted. So that's why that variant, it's a different variant every year, every couple of months, because they constantly trying to figure out, okay, what can we do to wipe this nation out? And like we gonna keep saying, the Most High's not gonna let that happen. These plagues is gonna keep coming, but they're not gonna wipe us out. It's gonna be a remnant that's gonna come together. They're gonna learn. It's gonna be a remnant of Israel that's gonna learn to reunite. They're gonna learn to prepare. All right, that's all good.
Yeah. Read that from the top again, officer.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High,
Mm-hmm.
and shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
And that's in the laws. It's against us. It's us. The laws don't work for us. It benefits them. You're looking, and just some of the stuff is creepy when I hear our people talk like They think these laws, they getting help, and you know, I just call the police. You know, they thinking that they're gonna win somehow. You know, it's just like the voting system that they believe in. They thinking that, you know, if they get enough votes, they're gonna win. Like things gonna change. That stuff ain't changing. It's a setup, you know, for them. And so for our people, they be thinking like, they thinking, oh, we won with that. They say we won. They say we winning. We got that black judge. I'm like, you talking about the one with the Edomite husband? Right. I said, do we not win it? I said, you thinking that's a win? Talking about we got to take something. Clarence Thomas and his Edomite wife? That's how we win it? They crazy. Read on.
And think to change times and laws.
And they do that. These laws are fluid, Israel. They're moving. They're not. These laws are not standing. Something come up. I give another example. I thought this one was our beloved brother LeBron James. You know, he came up, and when he came up, he had kind of built a little team around him. So he had his agent and all those things he had in place. So the agent was helping him. He came up into the NBA. They seen LeBron was making big moves, and so some NBA players was like, "Hey, LeBron, your boy right there." He said, "Yeah, that's my agent." He said, "Man, you think you can hook me up? You know, you getting the deals, blah blah blah." And so LeBron began to say, "Hey, you know, players want that representation." So he was a black brother, obviously. Guess what happened? They found out. They went into his archives of his life, found out the brother don't even have a 4-year degree. They said, "Oh, shoot, this guy ain't got a 4-year degree, but yet he getting all these mega players." They said, "Man, we got to change the rules." So they said that going forward, no agent can be an agent in the NBA if he don't have a 4-year degree. So they changed the rules based on that, and when they did, so he lost a lot of players. He had to go back to school, but that's the story. How that they read it again, officer?
And think to change times and laws.
They change them according to the time that it benefits them. When it benefits them, when they get the one up, that's when they change it. We need to assess this. This guy can't be an agent. He don't have a 4-year degree, but yet he's getting all these ball players. You went to school for 4 years. This guy never went to school for 4 years, yet he's able to benefit from us.
Hey, Cap, just like we touched on this a lot on the Bible book of my fathers, with how they changed the education in the schools, and how they took the Bible out, trying to take the slavery out, 1619 project. It was when it was beneficial to them, like you touching on, Cap. When it was beneficial to them, it was okay and dandy. As long as the Bible was okay, as long as it was white Jesus. Slavery was okay as long as we understood we was just slaves. But now that the prophets is teaching, the Bible is a black man's book and it's for you so-called blacks and Hispanics. Your forefathers wrote it. It's for you and only you. Now the Bible needs to be pulled out. Now that we're teaching why we went in slavery, now it needs to be pulled out. So like you said, Cap, it's all to their liking. When it's good for them, they're gonna leave it in there. But when it's time, okay, now they starting to catch up. They starting to get hip. All right, now it's time to take it out.
Read it from the top again, officer.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws.
How it's going to fit him, how it's going to prosper him. Read on.
And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time.
Until the time of the Most High come back to redeem us. I want to go slightly into another video. I want to show y'all something. We want y'all to see this, Israel. It's a video. This video came out a couple of days ago. And when we got it, we kind of went through it. And when we went through it, we was kind of a little taken back by it because I guess I seen a sister, she talked about this as well too. So we was talking about engineering. I said they are engineering starvation. They're making it happen. They're really trying to go back to that. That was the video. We'll start with that one because I want to come on the backside of with the other one. And so, can you bring it up? Once you bring it up, I want to just hold it up right there. I don't know if they can read it, but I want to read a couple of things that's on here. I just want to read a couple of things. Just leave it right there, and then we'll play the video. Now, what this is that the title talks about, it said, get ready for the next supply chain shockwave. Food processing plants been targeted by fire. That's what it's talking about. These are food, this is where food comes from that they end up distributing across the country to different cities, to your local grocery stores. This is how this food come out. But this is what's happening to those places that do this. There are fires. These places have been set on fire. They are burning these plant processing places down. They're burning them down. It's unusual that all these places where food comes from are being burnt down. All of a sudden, all these locations, these businesses been running for years, are starting to burn down. Let it play.
This is Dabu 7. We have a serious situation in this country in terms of food processing plants getting destroyed by fire. And you can see here just on the list I have on the screen. This is one too many to just be a coincidence. You can see here, meat processing facility taken out. A meat company taken out. Another beef plant taken out, all in different areas, from Nebraska to Alabama. You can see here's one in Alabama. Tyson Poultry, hit by a fire. Fire shuts down the Hot Pocket plant in Jonesboro. Wisconsin River Meats gets hit by a fire. Fire destroys Deli Star Meat Plant in St. Clair. Explosion in a fire at the potato chip plant. Fire causes $100,000 in damages at a San Antonio food processing plant. It goes on and on and on. This is just what you can fit here in one image to see. There's something massive happening here. Some saying that it's an engineered collapse of all of this. We know for sure there's something big going on, and there has been. The powers that be orchestrating all of this for control. It started with the ports, the congestion on the West Coast, which we still have not received our packages we've been waiting on for 2 years. Then it shifted gears, and now we find ourselves sitting right here.
Stop right there.
Where?
Where we at? Is that a minute? And how far did that go? How long we let that play? How much time? What's the time stamp on it? That was it? 1:38. So we passed that? We ain't got to 1:38 yet? Let it play a little longer. We'll stop it.
They're going back and saying that everything that's happening with China at its ports are also going to affect us here.
Okay. Go ahead, I like them.
Because that goes into the changing of times and laws as well, because you have the embargoes and the sanctions being placed on the shipping containers coming into the country. They're coming, but then they're just sitting out in the harbors, and nobody can figure out why they're not allowed to come into the country. That's times and laws being changed, as well as the way that the truck drivers, a few months back, we saw that they were being fired. I think almost close to 100,000 of them were fired, especially up north near Canada, because of the sanctions being placed, because of the jab, because of the pestilence, who we will not name, that they were saying these are the truck drivers that caused the distribution of the food, but now we got to make sure that they can't do that. So it's constantly a manufactured, like you said, manufactured breakdown in the supply chain system, right? You got something else?
No, I was just saying, like how you said, it was like the officers mentioned before, how it's a manufactured starvation. That's what they're doing. They're manufacturing this thing, like the officer brought out. We all know that in this country, we get majority of our resources out of country, and when the ones that they're coming, they're not even letting them dock. And the ones they do dock, the truck drivers, like as you mentioned, wasn't able to move them. So it's happening. And it's all going to what you brought up, Kat. Are you preparing to live? Or are you preparing to die?
And it's not so much there again. It's about in terms, and we're telling our people, basically Israel, that we need to be preparing for to support ourselves, to be able to help our brother, to be able to help our sisters. Those things, like you said, some of those things that they're doing, that it's a detriment. This of the Lord, it's all the will of the Most High. We get it. We get that part. That's not what we're talking about. We just want to make sure that our people are prepared as time goes on, and that we need to be more insightful about the things that we must be doing for ourselves, and not being pulled away with any doctrine concerning what's going on this planet, because these people are evil. They'll make it seem like, what you should be doing is this, and, they pulling our people away behind a lot of things that we don't need to be encouraged in, and just don't make no sense. It's just a lot of brothers are just being idle with the cares of the world. And these people here has a total different agenda, so we need to be mindful about the will of the Most High and what he has for us. Now, he goes on in here, and you can see he talks about how is it, he says it's not coincidental that all these meat processing plants are all been set afire. So it's like what they would try to distribute across the land, we're gonna cut that pipeline off. So if we get that cut off, then at that point we can limit the resources. So we begin to look at it. In this video, I want y'all to see. Yeah.
Before you started the video, just on my way up, I remember this was yesterday. I was riding through the city, and you rarely see like your local meat markets you used to have, your local fish markets. You don't see that no more. I mean, I'm telling you, Cap, it don't matter if you're in Charlotte, Gastonia.
That's a good point.
You don't see your local fish markets no more. It's getting less and less. Fish markets, meat market, you don't even see that no more. It's like that's what we bringing out. The famine is already here. They already manufacturing that thing. You only getting your stuff mainly now is from the major companies now.
It was something I think the guy talks about. It might be, but it said one of the 5 things that's missing, or one of the 5 things you won't have in the next few weeks, is butter. And it don't have a long life shift to it. But you say, well, my refrigerator, I keep butter. I can keep going back using it. They said, I think somebody said butter was 4 sticks was over $8. I say, Lord have mercy. 4 sticks of butter? Was it margarine? I mean, $8, almost $10 a bottle. Oh man, that's high, boy. That's whew. And so they were saying that's one of the things that's going to be gone here real soon. So what I was leading up to was that we don't even know when it comes to some of the things that they set and how they're going to roll these things out. But I just want to make sure that Israel know that we're going to be prepping. We've been prepping. I didn't even know my mom and them was prepping. I just thought when they was canning like that, I just thought it was just something that we just done every year. But they was prepping for those hard, rough winters. They knew what they was doing, and they did that thing. What you got, like? Yeah, was that? Okay, was it that was the first one? We ain't played it yet. Yeah. Okay. You got something? All right, go ahead.
Let's get Ezekiel 7 and start with 15, because I want us to keep that on the forefront of our mind, that this is on the front of our mind. This is all of the Lord. These people don't do nothing without with the Lord giving, sealing the instructions in them. See, that we got to realize this is all of the Lord, okay? And the scripture's gonna tell you that as long as you on the Lord's side, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Follow the instructions, which are the Bible. Read that. Start with 15.
Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 15. The sword is without.
So it's war going on. Read on.
And the pestilence and the famine within.
So it's going to be war outside the city, and it's going to be famines and pestilence in the city. Read on.
He that is in the field shall die with the sword,
of war. Read on.
and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him.
And all of this is of the Lord, because who's his sword? Esau. Read on.
But they that escape of them shall escape, and shall be on the mountains like doves of the valleys. All of them mourning, every one for his iniquity.
So those amongst our people that's in the midst of sin are going to suffer. Read on.
All hands shall be feeble, and all knees shall be weak as water.
Jump to 18.
Verse 18.
No. Jump to 19.
Verse 19. They shall cast their silver in the streets.
So money is not going to have any. Money is not going to have any value. Read on.
And their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord.
So this is the coming of the Lord's wrath. Read on.
They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels.
So the Lord is taking away food from our people and amongst the other nation to bring forth the wrath that he said he was from the beginning that he was going to bring for the iniquity of the world. Read on.
Because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity.
So our people can kick back and get fat, eat good. They ain't thinking about the Lord. So the Lord going to snatch that away from them to show who has the power. That's going to get their attention. What did it say? Proverbs 1, it says that the Lord brings adversity to get the attention of our people. So that's what's going on. The Lord is manufacturing this through the devil.
You know, and when them, that's what I'm talking about earlier. They'll be quick to trade in. Hey, take these Jordan for that. Let me get that loaf of bread. You know, yeah. I want to real quick. I think you had one video you had, but I want to. Is this the one, the exploding flute? That's it. The Jake dude. All right, put it up there. Let me see him. The videos. Was it him? Not him. The other way? Okay, where we going back? Okay, let it play.
It's a good light show and, a bad night of gas. You prep enough, you're going to make it through that disaster. The roundabout number to start with is 30 days, and then move on to 60
Stop
days.
right there. So he's basically like giving an example. He had a 30-day supply, and I would say Israel, many of us probably do have a 30-day supply. All praises. But he's saying, also work on a 60-day supply too. And he's telling that because the trial can last that long. It's going to be tribulation. It's going to endure. You got to endure these things. So you want to be able to set yourself up.
What if that thing start to go a year or two? We don't know how long this thing may last.
Right. You got one flashlight and 2 cans.
Right. And yeah.
That's heavy. Let it play on.
Then 90, then keep going a month at a time. I'm still at a year and a half after next week when I go on my prepper blitz, which is just canned goods at the supermarket. I'll be at a year and...
Pause right there. What do you call it? His prepping blitz? What do you call it?
Prepper blitz.
And I'm saying, Israel, that's, we have, and I know our people are doing the will of God. I'm just trying to just focus in on that. There's things that we can do to enhance and to establish and move forward ourselves as a nation. You're saying, well, there are things we can do. I was wanting to say that somebody might say, well, I don't have the room for all that. You'll make room. You should make room. But you can be able to put things back that you can. Old people, they would slide stuff up under the bed. You know what I mean?
And Cap, and just the the history I brought out with Joseph. He told Pharaoh to do what? To say what? 20%. You know, like I said, just starts like the brother said, like the scripture says, just start small. 20% of what you have. Hey, let me just put a fifth away. You know, let me put just little by little, and then as you get more, you save more. You know, but you have to start somewhere, Cat.
Right, that's what it's talking about, you know, that you be able to lend to your brother. You know, you be able to help him. And it's not so much for yourself, but it's also for your brother as well. Play on.
Still at a year and a half after next week when I go on my prepper blitz, which is just canned goods at the supermarket. I'll be at a year and 8-9 months.
All right, yeah, move up to the next timestamp, please. Oh, the boy talks. That's the part you want. No, it's toward the go up. Okay. Well, tell me, like, what you want.
Go to 35 seconds. All right.
Take care of you. You really have to be able to take care of yourself.
After the apocalypse, most of the people you love are gone. Most of your friends are gone. Everything you love to eat are gone. It's like the beginning of mankind all over again.
Like the beginning of mankind all over again. Can I pull one scripture, Captain?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hebrews chapter 11, verse 13. Because that mentality, that vision has been established. You see the leadership of that household. You know, the father, he's dealing with the son. He's saying, look, this is where things are headed. This is where our minds need to be. And the son is not confused. He's not caught up talking about let me see the two dads on Disney streaming service. His mindset is in a different place. Read that off. Yes, sir. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 13.
The book of Hebrews chapter 11, verse 13. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth.
Strangers and pilgrims on earth. That boy is not caught up in having his mind and his spirit married to this place. But I'm talking about some video games. He's talking about how do I plant these seeds? What time of year does this plant grow? What can I do with these roots? What do they do to my body? His mindset is not about staying in this place. He's got that come out of her, my people spirit. He knows that he's a pilgrim and a stranger in this place, and that's the mindset that we have supposed to have. But we need to be seeking the better country, which is Jerusalem. The Lord gonna deliver us, but before that, it's gonna be contractions, pestilences, and wars. All right.
Yeah, that was a good part you pulled out right there too, like go back. Let's go back. This one, this guy. Give me that one that says, "Get food, stockpile now." That video. Back it up. All right, we're gonna play it. When we play it. Listen, Israel, you got to listen to the first parts of it when he began to start talking about it. The title of this one is Get Food Stockpile Now, They Are Going to Starve You Out. This is what this was about. It came out about 2 or 3 days ago. Let it play.
All right, guys, welcome back. CFP here, and this is Survival Living. I was going to take a few days off, and I still am. But I come across some interesting information I want to share with you guys. Make you think, make you keep prepping. So came across this today actually on another YouTube channel, Dabu7. I've been subscribed to him for a while now. And headline, of course, was in the thumbnail. The Earth only has 3 months supply of
Pause
food.
right there. Pause right there. So they're going into this right here. What they're bringing out is that they said the earth, not your local grocery store, not your local state, not America, but it says the earth only has a 3-month supply of food that's on deck. That they have that much right now. That you can go to your grocery store.
Say that again, Cap.
The earth. Just the earth. We're talking the earth, not your local store, not down the road, not your Piggly Wiggly. I'm telling you, it's saying that the earth only has a 3-month supply of food that's on deck that you can get your hands on. And what they're saying is that if production stopped, humanity has nothing to eat less than 90 days. So the 3 months they got to feed you, you can be out of food in 3 more months afterwards. So the point I'm making is what we've been showing you, Israel, is that what in the hell is going on where you sitting there taking advantage of these and you burning down all these places that's supposed to distribute food? So if you put those things out of business, that what they got on deck is all you're going to have. So if there's a break in the production, that means ain't none coming to your stores. And I'm telling you, it's just going to be like it was with Katrina. All hell's going to break loose. And so they know this is the earth. This is the world food supply for everybody. This is their kitchen table, so to speak. And they telling you we got 3 months that we can sit here and distribute out, but they concerned about the food, the chain supply, and then you get them manufacturing starvation, closing down these plants by burning them up. Hey, that's the perfect storm for the production to be stopped.
And Cap, it said that it says for the whole earth. So you got to think about it. Some places they don't have grocery stores in their city or in their neighborhood. So you think by the time you get to that grocery store, it's going to be still supply. So that's still in itself is kind of sketchy because it might be less than 3 months.
I think he says
in,
that
in most places. That's just saying the whole earth. In most places on the earth, though, it's going to be probably less than. It might be less than a month.
That's a precept. Most I've never seen the righteous forsaken. Got it. Let's pull that. Pull that script for me.
The book of Psalms, chapter 37,
and
verse 25. I have been young, and now am old. Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread.
The point of it, you keeping the Most High's commandments, you doing the will of the Father. He said, I will not forsake you. He said, I'm not forsaking you. He said, you've been with me. You was young, you've been with me. Now you're a little older, you've been with me. He said, but I never seen you go without anything. He said, I'm going to make provision for you. If I got to smoke a rock, if I got to make it rain manna again, we ain't gonna go without. We got to know that thing, man. You know, that's why our help comes from the Lord. Read it again.
Psalms chapter 37, verse 25. I have been young, and now am old.
I've been with the Lord the whole time. Lord's been faithful. The Lord been good. Read on.
Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken.
I never seen a person that's keeping God's commandments, God turn around and forsake them. He always take care of the righteous. That's what we have to apply. By applying the righteousness, then we can be fed, we can be delivered, we can be healed. All that applies to us being righteous, doing the will of the Father. That's how we conduct ourselves. That's our salvation. That's our hope. That's what we're holding fast to. God said, I ain't forsaking my people. That thing ain't happening.
Nor his seed begging bread.
And you ain't gonna find ourselves begging for bread. He, like I said, hey, you have to, he'll make that thing happen for us. So, go back to the video.
Production stops. And that's actually true. If production ever stops, guys, only food that you're going to be eating is what you have available, what you have stored up.
Pause.
Or
so he's touching on it, saying that you should have rations, you should have prepped, you should have done some things for yourself. That's what we're telling our people, that we should be doing those things as well. Let it play up to 1 minute and 45 seconds and stop it.
what the government decides to give you. Now, we've seen the push on the bugs that they want to give you. I'm seeing articles now, hopefully I got a pop up there for you, on how roach milk is more better for you than regular milk. Cockroach. We've seen the articles and reports on they want to feed you bugs.
Hold right there. And that's the mindset. You know, we was discussing it though. So you imagine, you know, they telling you, you know, if you want, you know, come get it. We got it for you. Yeah. And get your booster while you're here. This thing crazy, man. I ain't kidding. Is that 145? Is that 145? Where we stopped at? All right, a little more, 140. Yeah, stop right there. Yeah. Oh, get the other video. Get the other video, Elijah.
Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer. It's the one that I put up last. Right. So while y'all get that, I'm gonna preface it last. It's last broadcast. The movie Snowpiercer, if y'all are not familiar, is a movie. It's a really good movie. It's very blatant though, very obvious. It don't take all type of deep thought to see it. When you watch this movie, it's a metaphor for a capitalist society, right? They're on a train. The back of the train has the have-nots. The front of the train has the haves, the oppressors and the oppressed, right? So as these oppressed people are coming up through the train, they are being given, right, as we are being forced, like he was saying, not forced, but if they could, they would, trying to give us other sources of food that are not real, right? So play this, and what they're going to find out is what these things that they're getting passed down from the oppressors actually is, right? Play that.
So that's how it's made. Ooh, still hot. Wow, look at them all.
So those are protein blocks, right? She says, that's how it's made, still hot. That's what they've been eating. They've been eating that the whole time, but they're finally about to see what it really is. Play.
Nice bird. That's right, man. There's your food. There's your protein block.
Don't fall off the horses, or don't fall off the horse. Now stay focused, right? But that's a movie, but that's just an example, right? The oppressors were doing that to the oppressed people. And the movie itself, as I mentioned, is just a metaphor for a capitalist society, a situation where oppressors and the 1% are in control of what the 99, quote unquote, are doing and have access to, right? But even the Edomite in this real life, he brought out what? Yeah, he's seeing articles of them saying, yeah, they might do it, roach milk. What are you talking about?
Exactly. Go back to that other video, and that's what he was actually talking about. So we was able to show you that that's what he was talking about, roach milk. What are you talking about, roach milk? That's what they was eating, those bugs. So it said, go back, let it play.
I got a pop up there for you on how roach milk is more better for you than regular milk. Cockroach. We've seen the articles and reports on they want to feed you bugs. Okay. We also know there's a nonstop war on what you get to eat and what they want you to eat.
Is that 145? We passed it? Okay.
Take away your access to red meat, pork, chicken. They want to control every aspect of what you do, what you eat, what you think.
Okay. Go up to, is it 7 minutes? Go up to 7 minutes. A couple of things he brought out in this. I think it's, start at 7 minutes.
The biggest platform, the most people. I've been able to help more people here on prepping and outdoor survival than I ever have on those other platforms, because the fact is those other platforms don't have the people there, and that's why I stay here. So If you don't know what you're talking about, back it down. This is why I'm explaining it to you. So, 30 days without food. I'm sorry, 90 days without food, 3 months. I actually believe it's going to be worse than that because I don't believe we have that much stockpiled up. I don't. We've had too much weather events. We've had way too much. I don't even know what's in those container ships off the coast. Does anybody? It's hard. We can't get a hold of the freight information. At least I can't. Of what's actually in this stuff. Is it food? Is it furniture? I don't know.
Drop that. Move it up to 10 minutes. I want to get. I think there's a segment in here I found. I want to try to find it right quick. Go back. There it is. Go back. Go back. Yeah. Go back a little more. Go back a little more. Say 8 minutes. Okay. All right. Let it play.
I just don't know. I do know we have an agenda where certain individual bought up a lot of farmland. Should be a pop-up there for you. Here in America.
Pause that. So, Bill Gates gets this land. He purchased it here in good old North Carolina, huh? Down in Florida, they got y'all. Louisiana. Bill goes up and buys all this property in all these states. Hell, look like it's half of the country. So he's buying it up. He's not buying it up to plant and produce. He's buying it up for that you can't produce. To bring forth the engineering of starvation. He's trying to produce it. His hand is in it. I want to make sure that these people don't eat nothing. Because if I buy this land up, these are, look, Nebraska is known for harvesting crops, right? You know, you North Carolina, all that, as you work your way out toward the east of this state, there's a lot of doggone, land out there.
No, if you look at the, pull the map back up, okay? And if you look at all the states that he's buying up this land, it's all in the states that are known for producing the farmland. Nebraska, Iowa, Wyoming, Idaho. All those states are known for producing a lot of the food for this country. Go ahead, Cap.
So no, but to the point, we own it because Washington is known for apples and stuff like that, right? You got Idaho potatoes. California is fervent
oranges,
oranges,
grapes,
all kind of fruits and stuff out there, right? Arizona pretty much probably the same. New Mexico, Colorado, whatever the case may be.
Look at Florida.
Yeah,
known for producing.
They know why they would let this man gobble up all this property like that, and he just sit there and take this land. He's not going to use it to help anybody, but or to purchase or continue growing crops on them. He's trying to limit the growth of crops. He don't want to see the food grown here, and so he goes out and buys all that land.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
And yeah, to that point, there's nothing we can do about it. Go ahead, let it play.
My first thought was that he was going to be doing GMO foods. This is what I really thought he was going to be doing, playing around scientifically, altering genes, and come up with some type of superfood, which, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, most of our food is altered. It is. When they start doing things to crops, most of our food is altered. We can try our best to get the organics and everything else. Just, if you got the finances for it, go for it. Me, I'm stocking up as much as I can. I'll be fine. I'm okay with dying 40 years down the road. I'm okay with that. Right now, I'm looking at this thread that I'm trying to achieve, because 40 years down the road, I got 40 years, okay, compared to starving to death right now because I can't afford to eat anything on principles, and I die in 21 days because I starved to death.
Right there. So it does, take a, you want to be able to have some items. Obviously, he's, I don't know, but I did hear a couple stories. People are out there, that you might like hoard in your house, put things back for yourself. But some people said that, one guy said that he's got several locations out there that he's put things out. Not just his house. I'm like, wow. I guess I don't know what, how is he doing it? I mean, but he was saying that he has other locations that things he had put away too. So I guess the way he took it, like if things get hard on this side, I'll go on that side. What you got, Austin?
I just want to bring out the point, because a lot of these people that you see making these videos are Edomites.
Yeah.
All right. So can I get one scripture real quick? 64 and 8 of Psalms. So a lot of these control them. Okay. We all know that it's for the demise of Israel, but they hate us and they want to come after us so much where they'll destroy their own people for the control of this earth. Go ahead, Cap.
You're exactly right, because later on, I tell you what, move it up to, go to 1059. Go to 1059.
Why they do things, except that they are pure evil. They have an agenda.
Play it again.
And they don't
take it back. That's it. That was it. I was listening to what you said. I remember he said that. I said, go back. You talking about yeah. Go back. This is what he said about Esau. Esau talking junk.
I've seen the comments. Well, it doesn't make any sense. Why would they starve anybody out? These people are freaking evil. That's why. There is no rhyme or reason.
He's talking about his own people.
Yeah. Get Joe. Just call him wicked, just for the moment. Back it up again. I want to hear it one more time.
People. I've seen the comments. Well, it doesn't make any sense. Why would they starve anybody out? These people are freaking evil. That's why. There is no.
He said, read the comment. Somebody asked him, why would they do that? He said, these people are freaking evil. Talking about, yeah. He down with him. Yeah. 24.
The book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
For a certain time, they're able to be ruling here, but we see that rulership coming down. We see the Most High begin to put them up under his will, and as he begin to bend them and take them down, he's raising us up. Read on.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
He hid us long enough. But he'll come forth the nation of Israel. He'll come forth the saints on the earth. Read. That's it.
If not, where and who is he?
We're the ones that's gathering now. We're the one that's coming home and establishing ourselves as the nation of Israel, the chosen of God, the beloved of God.
Shalom, this is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. I have an important message about your leaders in the Christian church. Your bishops, pastors, reverends, and ministers are all lying to you and leading you straight to damnation. The truth is, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are the biblical Israelites, according to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Jesus Christ is a black man with white wool hair, according to Revelation chapter 1. Verses 14 and 15. We as the Israelites must keep the commandments in the faith of Christ to receive salvation, as it is written in Revelation chapter 14, verse 12. I've challenged and debated Christian authorities all over the world on these issues. Not one of them has been able to negate this truth. Your pastors have led you astray, worshiping pagan holidays and false gods, just as in the days of old. So join us on our mission to restore the true nation of Israel before the decree goes forth. The work is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Visit our website at israelunite.org or call us at 855-484-4842 to learn more and visit our schools. Shalom.